I talked to Manny on the phone, and he wants to fight one more time.
He wants to fight one more time.
He does. Can fight because he had speed and he had power, and it's very, very hard to get those two together
at that size.
Yeah.
They thought it was over, that the final bell had already rung on one of boxing's greatest stories. The man who once made giants look small, who sent legends crumbling with a flurry of fists and footwork that defied logic, was done. After his 2021 loss to Denis Yugas, Manny Pacquiao stepped out of the ring and into politics, leaving fans with memories instead of expectations. But now, in a twist worthy of its own documentary, he's back at 46, with knees that have seen 1,000 rounds and hands still wrapped in destiny. Why? Why return when everyone says it's too late? Why chase a dream most would say has already passed? Because one man believes the fire never left, Freddie Roach. The Hall of Fame trainer, the soft-spoken architect behind some of boxing's most electric nights, he's seen Pacquiao's punches land in ways even science couldn't explain. And now he's watching them again, with the same calm confidence in his voice. Manny can beat Mario Barrios. Not survive him. Not go the distance. Beat him. And if Freddie Roach says it, history tells us we should listen. This isn't just a comeback story, it's a reckoning. A legend pushing against the weight of time, against logic, against everything we've come to accept about aging fighters. And Roach is holding the door open for one more war, because in his mind, Manny Pacquiao didn't stop being great. He just took a break. It started with whispers, a few seconds of blurry mid-work leaked online. Then a clearer shot, Manny Pacquiao in full gear, shadowboxing at Wildcard. No formal announcement. No press release. Just motion. Speed. That unmistakable rhythm. And suddenly, boxing fans, who had long moved on, were glued to their screens, whispering the same question. Is he coming back? Pacquiao hadn't fought in years. He'd become a senator, a philanthropist, a living statue. Most figured he'd spend his later years shaking hands, not throwing them. The Yugas loss felt like the final chapter, not because he looked bad, but because he looked tired. But the thing about warriors? They don't retire because they're tired. They stop when there's nothing left to fight for. Now, there's something, Mario Barrios. Tall. Strong. Young. Dangerous. A name rising in the welterweight ranks after dominating Yugas, yes, the same Yugas who beat Manny. And that's where the story twists. That win put Barrios on a map he didn't ask for. One Roach and Pacquiao intend to redraw. The media questioned everything. Why would Manny do this at 46? Is this desperation? Ego? But Roach, never one for drama, shut it down with a single line. He's not doing this for money. He's doing this because he knows he can win. That's not blind loyalty, that's 20 years in the trenches. Roach has seen Pacquiao through wars that would have broken others, from Barrera to Marquez to Thurman. He's been there when the world doubted. And every time, Manny proved them wrong. This isn't a midlife crisis, it's unfinished business. And Roach, with that same quiet fire in his voice, is betting it all on the man who built his name throwing fists so fast the cameras could barely keep up. Barrios may be younger, taller, fresher, but he's about to walk into something he's never faced before. Not just a fighter. Not just a legend. But a storm that doesn't know how to quit. If Manny Pacquiao is the fire, Freddie Roach is the match that lit it. Their story isn't just about trainer and fighter. It's about belief. Roach has Parkinson's. He shakes when he talks, sometimes softly, sometimes not at all. But when he steps into the ring, pads on, everything stills. That's not medicine. That's purpose. Before he was in Manny's corner, Roach was just another fighter, with bad hands and worse luck. He fought tough, but not smart. And when the lights faded, he stayed in the sport because he had nowhere else to go. That's where Wildcard Jim came from. Four walls, sweat-soaked mats, and a stubbornness that wouldn't die. Then one day, in walked a shy, wiry kid from the Philippines, barely spoke English. But when he hit the mitts, Roach felt it in his bones, lightning.
Yes.
He'd seen fighters. But this was different. Over 2 decades later, Roach still watches Pacquiao with the same focus. And that's why people listen when he talks, because Freddie doesn't lie. He's told Manny not to fight before. He's walked fighters into retirement when their legs were gone and their reflexes dulled. But not this time. Not with Manny. He isn't saying maybe. He's saying can. As in, he can beat Barrios. He's sharp. He's strong. And he's smarter now than he's ever been. That last part is key, because Roach isn't counting on Manny to out-youth Barrios. He's counting on him to outthink him. This isn't the same Pacquiao who brawled with reckless abandon. This is the evolved version, still fast, still unorthodox, but now calculated. And behind that calculation is Roach, meticulous, ruthless, honest. When others see 46, Roach sees 12 rounds of data, angles, patterns. He sees how Barrios dips his left after the hook. How he retreats in straight lines. He sees not just a path to victory, but a blueprint already in motion. Because for Roach, this fight isn't just one more payday. It's the final movement in a symphony he's been composing for over 20 years. A final crescendo. And he thinks it ends with Barrios on the canvas. Mario Barrios is not a soft target. He's not a setup. He's not some hand-picked stepping stone to make a legend look good on his way out. He's the real deal, young, tall, durable, and mean in the clinch. At 5 feet 10 inches with a 71-inch reach, he's a natural welterweight who walks opponents down with quiet confidence. He beat Denis Yugas convincingly. And that alone puts him on the radar as a major threat. But here's the twist. Beating Yugas doesn't mean you're ready for Pacquiao, especially not the kind of Pacquiao still trained by Freddie Roach. Because Roach doesn't see Barrios as a mountain. He sees him as a maze. And mazes can be solved.
Huge right hand. The jab. There's that.
Barrios is disciplined, but not unpredictable. He relies on rhythm. His jab, while solid, comes from the same angle every time. His body work is aggressive, but telegraphed. Roach calls it methodical, which, in Freddie speak, is code for exploitable. He's got the tools, sure. But Roach's eyes are on the gaps. His feet don't catch up to his hands, Roach says. He throws, but he's flat when he resets. Manny thrives on that. And it's true, watch enough Barrios tape and you'll notice it. He's great moving forward, but when forced to pivot or fight off the back foot, his timing gets shaky. That's a red flag against a fighter who lives on sharp angles and quick entries like Pacquiao. And there's something else, Barrios has never been in the ring with someone who moves like Manny. Not just speed, chaos. Controlled, intelligent chaos. Most fighters get flustered when they can't find their target. Barrios? He tightens up. He turns mechanical.
Punches landed. Very close.
That's the real danger. Barrios is walking into a fight where the rhythm he depends on will be torn apart by movement he's never prepared for. Roach knows it. Manny knows it. And if Barrios doesn't adapt mid-fight, something he's never had to do at this level, he won't survive the storm. He'll drown in it. At 46, you don't train harder. You train smarter. That's the gospel Freddie Roach has been preaching in the quiet corners of Wildcard. Gone are the days of sparring 8 rounds with 3 different partners back to back. Now, every minute counts. Every punch has a purpose. And every session ends not with exhaustion, but with calculation. Manny used to be the gym's chaos engine. Blitzing through heavy bags, shadowboxing like his life depended on it, doubling up on road work just to feel tired. But this camp is different. The fire's still there, but it's focused, sharpened, refined. Roach designed this camp with surgical precision. Not to chase what Manny was, but to extract what still remains. Roach's mantra this time around is, no wasted movement. Every punch thrown in camp is reviewed. Every session is documented. There are fewer rounds, but more film. Less damage, but more depth. Manny no longer trains to break his body. He trains to preserve it and sharpen the tools he'll need for just 36 minutes in the ring. Even recovery is tactical. Cryotherapy sessions. Nutrition tailored down to the molecule. Reflex drills with LED lights instead of just sparring. Roach's team includes a movement coach now, someone who studies how Pacquiao steps, rotates, even breathes between exchanges. Because when time isn't on your side, science has to be. People forget Roach said Manny was a volume puncher. But he was never reckless. He always had IQ. We're just leaning on that now, more than ever. And that's the terrifying part for any opponent who thinks this version of Pacquiao is slower. He may be a step off, but he's now thinking 2 steps ahead. This isn't a faded champ gasping for one last payday. This is a fighter still sculpting his final masterpiece. Roach isn't rebuilding Manny, he's revealing what never left. If Barrios has nightmares, they won't be of knockouts. They'll be of things he can't see. Of punches that appear from below his chin or around his temple. Of feet that are never where they were a second ago. Of a man half his size making the ring feel like a trap. That's what it's like to fight Manny Pacquiao. Freddie Roach has always said it, it's not just speed. It's unpredictable speed. Pacquiao doesn't throw 1-2 combos. He throws 5, 7, 10 from angles that don't make sense. While moving. While slipping. While smiling. Barrios is orthodox, structured, and built on rhythm. He likes his jab. He likes his distance. But that's exactly the kind of fighter Pacquiao has eaten alive over the years. Ask De La Hoya. Ask Cotto. Ask Thurman. Tall, strong guys who blinked and found themselves on the ropes with a left hand detonating somewhere near their cheekbone. Oh. Down goes Thurman. And let me tell you, that was just a quick punch. And Manny Pacquiao moved in with his legs. And Roach sees the pattern. Barrios backs out straight. That's death against a southpaw like Manny, he says. And he's right. The worst thing you can do against Pacquiao is retreat in a line, because he follows like a shadow. And he punches while moving forward. And Barrios? He's never fought a southpaw with this kind of engine. He's sparred lefties. Fought a few. But none who blur the lines between offense and movement like Pacquiao. Roach calls it the slingshot. Manny draws you in, then launches forward at an angle just off-center enough to be invisible until it's too late. It's not about raw speed anymore, it's about deception. Manny uses feints like grenades. His feet are weapons. He'll dart in, fire 3, then step out sideways, leaving Barrios swinging in air and resetting his feet like a rookie.
Out goes Thurman! And let me tell you, that was just a quick punch. And Manny Pacquiao moved in with his legs. And
Barrios can hit. He can press forward with volume and aggression. But the moment he tries to trap the ghost, he'll find himself punching at air. That's the paradox of Manny Pacquiao, what you see isn't always what you hit. Because Manny's most dangerous weapon was never just his fists, it was his ability to vanish and reappear in the exact place you're most vulnerable. Freddie Roach knows it. He's always known it. That part of Pacquiao, the phantom in motion, hasn't aged a day. The calendar says 46, the official numbers say past prime, but the film? The tape tells a different story. You can age muscle. You can slow reflexes. But you cannot teach or time instincts when they've been hardwired into your bones from childhood poverty through decades of wars in the ring. Roach has trained champions. But when he looks at Manny, he doesn't see a veteran trying to hold on. He sees a chess master returning to the board. Barrios isn't just fighting a body. He's trying to outwit a brain sharpened by over 70 professional fights. And that's where most get it wrong. They see the speed, the bouncing feet, the flurries, the chaos. But chaos doesn't conquer 8 weight divisions. Intelligence does. Strategy does. Now, more than ever, Roach is tapping into that part of Pacquiao. This won't be a slugfest. It'll be a cerebral war. He's not coming in to brawl with Barrios. He's coming in to outthink him.
And caught Thurman backing up. Thurman thought he could back up quick enough, but he wasn't quick enough to get it out of the reach of that punch.
Freddie Roach has been watching film like a man chasing ghosts of the future. Hours spent breaking down Barrios' habits, how he moves under pressure, how he shells up in a clinch, the precise moment he resets after firing a right hook. That's the roadmap. And Pacquiao, with a ring IQ forged in combat against legends, is the tool to execute it. Age means nothing if you control the tempo, Roach says. And Manny's foot feints alone? They can steal entire rounds. He doesn't need to overwhelm Barrios with volume anymore. He just needs to make him second guess when the punch is coming, if it's coming at all. That kind of mental pressure, sustained over 12 rounds, breaks rhythm, breaks confidence. And timing? Timing is everything. Roach has Manny drilling split-second counters, not just in response but in anticipation, almost like he's reading ahead in the playbook of Barrios' instincts. They know Barrios likes to double up on the jab after circling left. They've got that sequence dialed in. And Manny's left straight? At this point, it's less of a punch and more of a heat-seeking missile. The team is just waiting for the trigger.
3 of the last 4 rounds. Look at the total jabs landed and thrown. Pacquiao 23.
Then there's the clinch, the part of the fight casual fans overlook but veterans live inside. Barrios is physical on the inside. He likes to lean, to wrestle, to bully. But Manny's been here before. He's been tied up by Antonio Margarito, tangled with Shane Mosley, mauled by Jeff Horn in Australia. He knows how to survive and win inside the phone booth. Elbows in. Legs wide. Punch on the break. What Roach calls old man tricks, but what fighters call survival tactics. If Barrios is betting on youth to overpower experience, he's already behind. This fight won't be won with speed. It will be won with traps, with control, with deception. Manny may not throw 100 punches per round anymore. But every punch he does throw now is deliberate. Weighted. Strategic. And twice as damaging. Because experience doesn't fade. It sharpens. Ask Freddie Roach why he still believes in Manny Pacquiao, and he doesn't speak from nostalgia, he speaks from conviction. He sees it every morning. Manny doesn't walk into the gym for cameras or crowds. He wraps his own hands. Greets everyone. Then he works. Just like he always has. And from the corner, Roach watches. Hands folded. Parkinson's tremors calming, even if just slightly, as he tracks Manny's rhythm, step, pivot, shift. It's the same beat he's watched for 2 decades. Just more refined now. Less reckless. More lethal. There was a moment after the Yuga's loss, after the swelling, the long flights, and the empty press conferences where Manny smiled but his eyes looked far away when Roach told him to stop. He told him legacy was already secure. That he'd done enough. But something changed. Manny came back, not for money, not for fame, not even for validation. He came back to fight because it's who he is. Not for what the world expects, but for what his soul demands. And that's why Roach believes. He's seen the fakes. He's seen the guys who train just enough to fool the media. Not Manny. Not ever. Even now, he trains like it's his first title shot. Not for ego, for love. For the purity of the craft. For the idea that greatness, when protected, doesn't have to fade. It can evolve. Roach's belief isn't sentimental. It's scarred. Forged in real wars. He's seen Manny knocked down. Bloodied. Bruised. Broken. But never beaten. Never quitting. Not once. For Freddie Roach, this isn't just another comeback. This is closure. Legacy. A chance to finish on his own terms with the fighter who made him and the fighter he helped mold into a global icon. And when Roach says Pacquiao can win, he isn't hoping. He's certain. This isn't just a payday fight. It's not a farewell tour or a delusional swing at one last spotlight. Pacquiao versus Barrios is a collision of eras, one man rising, the other already etched into history. And yet, somehow, everything still feels on the line. Roach has trained hundreds of fighters. Walked thousands of gym floors. But this fight? This one feels different. Not because it's the biggest. Because it might be the last. And Roach doesn't want it to end as a whisper. He wants a roar. He wants a statement. If Manny lands clean, Roach says, Barrios is going down. And that's not trash talk. That's knowledge. That's years of watching Pacquiao sharpen weapons the public forgot he still had. No distractions. No campaign trails. No suits. Just gloves. He's not a senator. He's a fighter again.
Back and tries to roar back to nail Pacquiao with the right. A bloody Juan Manuel Marquez.
And here comes Marquez, follow with the overhand right.
Barrios isn't naive. He knows what he's walking into. He's not just fighting an opponent, he's stepping into a legacy. And that alone creates pressure. And pressure? Pressure does strange things to young fighters. Ask Keith Thurman. Ask Tim Bradley. Ask every man who thought they could bully the legend, only to get dragged into deep waters by Pacquiao's footwork, by his ability to shift angles mid-combination, by his sense of chaos disguised as strategy. But this fight? It's not about Barrios. Not really. It's about history. It's about the question that's haunted every fighter who's ever flirted with greatness: can I do it one more time? Can speed, timing, and sheer will defy biology just once more? Can Roach's voice in the corner still sound like destiny? Because history doesn't always fade quietly. Sometimes it screams its way back into relevance just one more time.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. For more exciting videos, make sure to hit the bell icon and stay updated.